Hello, everyone. This is Tim Turley. I will be your presenter and host for this short presentation, which is a part 2 of a series about estate planning made easy. Today, we're going to cover estate planning made easy with families that have special needs children, either minor children or adult children. So I'm excited to just spend a few minutes going over some of the important details on how to make this affordable and easy, and a way that you can get this done with me as your guide. So without further ado, let's just get into some of the specifics with estate planning in general, but we'll also again focus on special needs. So again, my name is Tim Turley. I've been a principles-based financial planner for many years and estate planning coordinator. I have always encouraged my clients of any age to get their estate planning essential documents in place. It's so important. If you want to take a picture of the screen, again, this is something that I do, is set up these estate plans and estate plans with special needs. If you wanted to contact me on my cell or a business line, or email me if you want more information, or would like to get this set up after we're done. So feel free to get a hold of me and schedule a consultation. So let's get into proper estate planning. What can proper estate planning do? Proper estate planning can avoid a costly and divisive probate process. That's something you want to avoid for many reasons. You can reduce taxes with the proper estate planning, preserve your wealth, create true financial freedom, mitigate unnecessary market risk, and help with special needs children, which is the kind of the focus of this short presentation. And you can create opportunities to purchase income-producing assets. So there's a lot of things that can be done with proper estate planning. So how do you create a special needs provisions inside of estate planning document? Well, there's a lot of reasons why we should get an estate plan, again, for our families with or without special needs children. So what should a proper estate plan look like? Number one, it should be affordable. It should also be affordable if you're going to do a special needs trust language inside of that plan. And that special needs language should be included with the plan. So by the way, with the software that we use, there's no extra charge for a special needs trust. And that's anywhere from a $2,000 to $3,000 plus savings. I've seen attorneys charge way more than that just to do special needs trust provisions. That's included with the already affordable price, by the way, which we'll get to at the end. The process should be fast. It should be easy. The language should be drafted by attorneys and approved in all 50 states, which it is. And you should be able to make changes and amendments to your estate plan documents with no extra charges at any time in the future. So that's the way we think it should be done. So why do you need estate planning documents? Well, one reason is the financial cost. Without an estate plan, settling your affairs can be very expensive because you're going to be subject to the government's probate court process. And just some examples, there's filing fees, there's legal notice fees, there's potential bond fees, personal representative fees, attorney's fees, and appraisal fees. There's also a personal cost. Besides some of the costs we just talked about, the cost may be more than just financial. When you don't have your estate planning document set up the right way, I've just seen it over and over again where families, children of parents, they just fight. They dispute and argue over money, land, personal items. There's a lot more that they argue about, but I've had clients that have gotten along their whole life, and then when the parents passed away and there was an estate to distribute to the children, they start fighting and they never talk to each other ever again. So avoid those conflicts. There's no reason to have those conflicts. A recent survey found that 44% of all estate disputes involve siblings. 30% of those said their family members stopped talking to each other entirely as a result of the dispute, which I just referenced to with some of my clients have had over the years. Also, it sometimes takes a minimum of 6 months to a year or more to actually settle the estate if it goes through the government probate process. Just some interesting studies that have done recently in surveys. Forbes magazine said, despite their priorities, nearly 50% of Americans over 55 still don't have a will. CNBC did a recent poll that said 67% of Americans have no estate plan. And Investopedia, an online finance site, said if you want your assets and your loved ones protected when you can no longer do it, you will need an estate plan. Without an estate plan, your heirs could face big tax burdens and the courts could designate how your assets are divided and even who gets to raise your children, right? So this begs the question, why don't more people have an estate plan? Well, a lot of reasons. It could be a very intimidating process, so they just don't do it. They don't want to pay high attorney's costs, estate planning attorney's costs to get it done. All right, it's an uncomfortable topic to talk about. Many people think it's too complicated. And the number one reason, I know I should get it done, but I'll get around to it, and then they never do. So you have a choice with an estate plan. If you choose not to put the essential documents together the right way, then you will have the government's plan, okay? So here's your plan, and there's the court's plan. Let's talk about the court's plan. With the government plan, you have your assets, your money in your house and cars and other things like that. And when you pass away, all of those assets go through a probate court. And then the probate court decides who and what and how and when to distribute your assets to the probate court. And if you don't have this plan in place, if you have a special needs child, that child may get a lump sum. And by getting a lump sum, they may lose their needs-based government benefits. And so that's obviously going to be a concern for you if you have a special needs child. So again, the court decides who receives your assets. And a big one that a lot of people don't realize is when your estate goes through the probate court for distribution and liquidation, it's a matter of public record. So your family's privacy is lost. You can do a search and you can find out who got what, and it's just a nightmare. You do not want to have that a matter of public record. So what are some of the benefits of avoiding probate? Well, you can save a lot of money. You can save a lot of time. There's less stress, a lot less paperwork. And a big one we just talked about again is you can protect your family's privacy, right? So what happens when you have a living trust in place? What does that eliminate for you? Well, it eliminates the probate court, okay? So you have your assets. The assets are protected or inside of the revocable living trust. And then based on your previously designated instructions, your assets will be distributed to your heirs. A living trust is actually a contract, right? And what it does is a living trust does the work of a probate court without the court, and it makes it matters way easier for your family. So the point is you want to decide what happens to your assets, not the court. Who receives your hard-earned assets? When did they receive them? At what age? How they receive them? Do you want them to receive it over a period of time, or do you want a lump sum given to them? If you're incapacitated and you're still alive, but you can't make decisions, who makes those decisions for you? And who manages assets for minors? And again, specifically with those of you listening to this, you want to make it very clear who the guardianship will be for your minor or disabled children. Very, very important. Let's talk about special needs children real quick. We understand the importance of caring for your loved ones with special needs. Before, many years ago, I'm really old now, but not really, but my kids think I'm old. But many years ago, I worked in a profession where I helped what were called special populations. And so I've worked with Down syndrome children when I was in college. I just loved it. And I've always had a soft spot in my heart for special needs children. As a former rehabilitation therapist, I love that we can do these special needs provisions, and it's so important. Now, what do we need to know about this? So when you put special needs language and provisions inside of the trust, you need to know a couple things. One, all the provisions are included throughout the will and the trust. They're included without any extra cost in the trust. Your special needs beneficiaries will never receive a lump sum. That's going to be reported. In other words, they're going to receive income only from the trust for their health, maintenance, and welfare. And this is always a question that comes up with my clients. The government benefits coming to the special needs child will not be jeopardized. All right. So what I suggest you do is when we create an estate plan, the law allows the special needs language to be included in this comprehensive estate plan. And the attorneys use legal provisions and appropriate language that is approved, again, in all 50 states to protect your child. So a little more detail on this. So if your special needs child has Medicaid or Social Security disability, for example, those benefits will not be affected. Also, there's some other things that can be paid out of the estate for your special needs child, for people that need to sit and watch your children, or companions to help them out. There might be dental or medical expenses not covered by Medicare or Medicaid. So there's just a few more things that people wonder, can the trust help pay for? Okay. Now, where is the special needs provisional language inside of the trust? So there's a few places where these are at. First of all, some very important language, which is essentially a special needs trust language, is inside the revocable living trust. It's in Article 4 under designation of beneficiaries and allocation division of property. It's under Article 10, retention of disabled descendants portion in trust, and Article 11, very important, which is the distribution and administration for disabled and other designated beneficiaries. There's also some special needs language inside the last will and testament, specifically on who will be the guardians for a special needs child, whether they're a minor child or an adult child. So that's where it is inside the estate plan documents. So what does a comprehensive estate plan look like? You're going to get a revocable living trust. You're going to get a last will and testament, which is also referred to as a pour-over will. You're going to get the durable powers of attorney, which is healthcare and financial, and advanced medical directives. And in this specific case, for those of you who have special needs children, you will have the legally approved and written special needs provisions included throughout the trust and the last will and testament. Some people ask me, is a last will and testament enough? That's a really good question. Well, having just a will or writing it on a napkin or a piece of paper, it's much better than having nothing at all, but you need to know that just having a will is a wish document only. It still has to go through the probate court and they'll decide what to do. They don't have to necessarily follow what you had written down on a piece of paper, okay? So what's the solution to do this a really, really, affordable and fast and easy way? I've been using this technology for many years now with a company called Legacy Lock, and it's amazing technology. It's estate planning document technology specifically built for this reason. So what we do is we create all the documents and we avoid the negative consequences of probate, and every single plan is customized to each specific family. And so we go over how you want the revocable living trust to look like. There's a certificate of trust, all the different components we just talked about. There's a document vault. So this is a very affordable process. You won't be spending anywhere from maybe $2,000 to $6,000 or $7,000, depending on where you live, to get this done. It's guided. This is what I help you do, is we walk you through every step, making it easy and convenient for you. And also, what we do is something that many times the attorneys do not do for people, and that is how to fund the trust. If you don't have some of your assets inside of the trust, then the trust is worthless. So again, we do what attorneys usually don't do, is we make sure your trust is properly funded. So just have a little recap before we end. Do you want your estate plan or the government plan? Number one. We talked about the 5 components of a comprehensive estate plan, including the special needs provisions, right? And we talked about a really great solution. So in conclusion, most people will know, well, if it doesn't cost many thousands of dollars, what does it cost? So let's talk about that. This is the very best part. You do not have to spend $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 to get a special needs trust done, along with your other estate planning documents. So the nationwide retail price, which is incredible all by itself, is $14.95. You're not going to find that in many states, and many estate planning attorneys charge more than that, and they don't teach you how to fund the trust even. So now, what we can do, especially for those of you that respond to me from watching this, is we can take off $200 on that. So you're out of the door price for all 4 documents plus the special needs provisions, which essentially creates a special needs trust inside of the document, all included $12.95. You can make unlimited amendments at no cost in the future. And you also have, as part of this, 24/7 unlimited document storage in an eVault as part of your login to your document. This is just a great thing. And as we close out, again, feel free to contact me. Legally, I want to make sure you understand that we are not attorneys. We guide you through the software. Our attorneys have written all the language, and it is approved by every state in the United States, but we're not a CPA firm. We're not a law firm. I am a principles-based financial planner, but not an attorney. But our attorneys have written all the language, if that makes any sense. So again, I want to thank you for your time. Again, there's my phone number and email address at the bottom of the screen, and I hope to be able to help you set this up if you haven't done so already. Thank you so much for your time, and have a wonderful day.